Better credit, better home. Your source for the latest local and national news that can impact you if you are in the market for real estate. Here are your hosts, the Kingwood Mortgage guy, Mike Durr, who uses his 25 years as a mortgage professional to help people improve their credit, and Joe Solas, an accomplished home inspector, real estate agent, and trainer of new agents for Jane Bird Property International. Together, they will help you understand what you need to know to get the most out of your real estate investment. Let's get started.
Let's get started.
Let's do it, man.
Well, Joe, again, I'm so thankful. That's one of my themes today. Is we're going to be thankful because Thanksgiving's coming up, and I think I've got a lot to be thankful for. One of them is you being on the show with me today, and I missed you the last couple of weeks for probably my, it's on me more than it is on you, but just it is what it is, and we're going to make it so that we can do it consistently. If we have to do it earlier, we can. I will tell you, I scrambled getting my stuff together by 4 today. I didn't have the cushion that I normally have. So
it's all good, man. I'm happy to be here. Happy to be here in this seat. I love talking about Real Estate Weekly with you, man. I missed it the last couple of weeks. On Wednesdays are hell for me. I usually load up my schedule with inspections and honeydews and everything else. So I'm glad we're seeing that we can switch it back to Tuesdays.
Yeah, we'll figure it out where we do it on Tuesdays. So what you been doing the last couple of weeks? Tell the folks what's going on.
Dude, I've been super busy with inspections, more busier than I have been probably in a couple years, which is good because I don't really, other than this show and just my silly Facebook stuff, I don't market it very much. But I've run across a couple opportunities to partner up with a builder that's doing some building in the Conroe area. So I've been getting his phase construction inspections, or that company's phase construction inspections, and then just my normal thing, helping buyers understand either the general condition of their house that they're buying, if it's a pre-owned, or helping them identify deficiencies in the different phases of construction as they're building their new house with their builder of choice.
Nice. Well, being busy as an inspector, that means that there are people buying houses.
Yes, sir.
And that is a good thing. And one of the things that you'll see at the end, and I'll hint at it right now, is that interest rates have come down pretty much a full point in the last 3 or 4 weeks. So what we were talking about was 7.99 and 7.875. We're not quite talking about 6.875 yet, but we're talking about 7%. We're talking about, with a buy down, you can do 6.5. 6 stuff is good, and I think 6 will get a lot of people back in the game. If it gets to 5, which it very well could be, we're going to be busy. That's what I'm thinking.
Exciting times, man, for sure. I'm seeing it a little bit, although we're kind of coming into the holiday season where traditionally it kind of slumps off a little bit. I read some articles that year over year sales as far as volume is down, but I feel good about the trajectory of where we're going. It's starting to ramp up a little bit.
Good segue. It's funny you say that. Well, I've got a little bit of, me, I love charts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the thing I'm touting today, and I've got a couple things that are just kind of came about while I was up in Michigan visiting UWM, United Wholesale Mortgage, one of the largest, they are the largest mortgage company in the world. They and Rocket Mortgage are in competition, and they compete, and it's a good thing when they compete because they bring out things like this. Now, this is not a UWM program. They just announced this, that they are going to do it with, and it's a Fannie Mae offer, and it's a $5,000 grant program for first-time homebuyers. At least one of the, if it's a couple, one of the borrowers has to be a first-time homebuyer. It's going to be a limited time until the money runs out. It's one of those deals. First come, first serve, and it's based on the Home Ready program. It's a conventional loan program where you put 3% down. So this $5,000 comes to you without any hooks like the other ones that I tell you almost every week that I don't love the first-time home buyers because home buyer programs, because they take money out of the rate, and what ends up happening is first-time home buyers get stuck with higher rates than they normally would if they had $7,000-8,000. This one's not like that. So we're going to talk about that, and then let's see. I'll get to what we're going to cover here. We're going to talk about housing inventory. We're going to talk about housing sales. We're going to talk about ulti-lien. Do you know what an ulti-lien is?
No, look at my head. I'm shaking it like this.
That's good. See, you learned something new today.
Hey, I'm all about it. Let's do it.
And then 2024, and I guess I misspelled will. I got excited about it and just kind of forgot the last L. Will be better if I, and we'll just see what it's going to be better if you do something. Yeah.
Yep.
So does that sound okay for you?
Let's do it. Rock and roll, man.
All right. So first thing, we're going to talk about the $5,000 in grant money for first-time home buyers. I mentioned this to a handful of realtors. They didn't believe me. They thought, yeah, right. It's, another one of those bogus deals. If I get excited about it on a first-time home buyer thing, it's a real deal. There's first thing I said, no increased rate for the money. The money's coming from Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae, by the way, after the last couple of years, is flush with money. They're not hurting at all. It's based on the Home Ready Fannie Mae program, which is the 3% down program, which mirrors and tries to do a lot of what FHA does. And there's a Home Ready and there's Home Possible. You've probably heard about those. Home Ready is the Fannie Mae version. Home Possible is the Freddie Mac program. And they're similar, but they have a few differences. Down payment is 3%. Now that $5,000 can go towards the down payment, or if you have money, it can go towards closing costs, or it can go for a combination of both. It'll help you get there. And to me, a lot of times, let's say it's a $200,000 to $250,000 house, the closing cost and the down payment can cost somewhere between, let's say, $10,000 and $15,000 is what I see when people are trying to get. So, this is going to help. And people that can take advantage of this, or maybe this is a trigger to let them take advantage of buying a house right now. Here's a crazy thing on Home Ready and Home Possible, there are income limits. You can't make more than 80% of the median income. On this one, there are no income limits.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you're going, what's the catch, right? And there is a catch, I guess, if you want to call it a catch. I can move it to the next slide. Did that not do it? Okay, well, here are kind of the details. 3% conventional program, minimum FICO score 620. That's not a big deal. No income limitations. Seller concessions are capped at 5%. Now, that's interesting because what are seller concessions capped at normally on a conventional loan?
Oh, you tell me. Is 6 or 7% or something like that, right?
It's 3%.
3%. No, I didn't know that.
On FHA, it's 6%.
There you go. Okay.
So actually, they've expanded the concessions cap, which means that people can help you with a little bit more money and or buy down some rates. Must be able to show proof of current address. So this is a geographical program that they have designated certain areas all over the country. There's probably 20 cities that are across the country. In Texas, it's Dallas-Fort Worth, it's Houston, it's McAllen, Brownsville, and I want to say there was maybe one more, San Antonio area. Those are the areas, and there are certain areas within there that they feel are underdeveloped or can, anyway, and it says that it's meant to be something that makes it easier for people of race, but it doesn't say no white people, no black people, no brown people, no Asian or anything like that. It doesn't say. It's just people that may have had some kind of race issues. And the catch is that you've got to show that you lived in that particular area. And I've got a spreadsheet, and I'm supposed to find out exactly how I determine whether somebody will qualify or not tomorrow. So that's how fresh it is. I mean, they're just coming out, and I called them up today. I'm going to be doing a presentation on it. I like to be able to show them how it works. And he said, good point, Mike. I'm going to learn that tomorrow. So we'll see what happens.
That sounds like a delicious deal, man. I mean, there's as far as the concessions being at 5%, I mean, the majority of your closing costs could be covered through that. And then if you're getting another 5,000 on top of that, you're pretty much set for.
Yeah, it's going to be a good program. My biggest fear is that it's going to be sucked up and all the money is gone quickly, but we don't know. So we'll see. Yeah. I definitely wanted to get that word out there. And so that is what we're doing today. Now, this is kind of off my trajectory here, but this slide, I saw this come out, and I think I saw it in Inman magazine, and you can't really read it, but it's mortgage rates overtake inventory as biggest worry for agents. And it says triple I don't know what that's about, but I thought it'd be a good question for you. If you look at that, the blue and the green box there, the blue box is the mortgage rates is, for some reason, it's a realtor's biggest concern. I don't know why. It seems like they'd be happy now. The green box is lack of housing inventory. And I get that. I mean, you got a buyer that's ready to go and you just don't have a place to put them. That's a problem. The third one there is the commission income challenge with this lawsuit that happened. Joe, what's your biggest concern right now?
Primarily I like to, and I've modeled my business around sellers selling for the last couple of years. And my biggest concern is sellers with a low interest rate that don't want to sell. And that's kind of knocked my knees out from underneath me, but we're still swimming out there.
Yeah. Well, that may be exactly what this is about and why they're concerned about interest rates. But there seems to be, for the last year and a half, all I've been talking about is interest rates are coming back down, and it finally looks like that may be the case. About a year late, actually, but that's just the way it works. You get what you get. All right. So as far as inventory, these are kind of things, and this thing kind of blew up when I put this on there. But I highlighted Austin, Dallas, and Houston. And this is the active inventory, October 23. So this is a couple weeks old. And it shows Austin it's got less inventory than it did in September. And overall, month over month, it's negative, but year over year, it's 4% above. Okay. So we're going to read this year over year thing is probably the most important one. Dallas-Fort Worth, they had 22,502. September 23, they had 21,000. So they're 8.5% up year over year as far as inventory. I think that's probably good news. Let's see what Houston's doing. Houston in October 23, 24,915. In October 22, there were 23,000. We're 7.3 up as far as inventory year over year. Month over month, we're a little lower. So that's probably a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it gives buyers more choice. That there's really sellers are really wanting to sell, and so they're willing to make concessions.
Yeah, I see that. Here's another one that I picked up off of this calculated rate industry thing. Existing home sales from 22 to 23. I thought this was a good chart because it just shows you over the last 2 years that, it was going down. The blue is in 2022. The red is in 2023. And there's still the same kind of trajectory. January of last year was really bad, but it's just kind of sloping down. But every month is less than the last one. I'm guessing November and December are going to be less also. So it's time that we got some good news, I think.
Man, I'm ready for it for sure.
Here's another one. This is the existing home inventory. Now, this is interesting because starts in January of 1999. So this is January 1999. This is when the housing crash was right up in here. This is 2007, 8, 9, and 10. Well, actually, even into 11. But look at inventory, how it's just kept going down and down and down. And I mean, this goes, if you look at this graph up close, this says January 2024. So we're a couple months away, and it's up a little bit. This is different than most of the years, but it's still, you look at how far it's gone down, it's dramatic. And again, the perspective I have here is with inventory like this at low, that's going to keep homes appreciating.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just less inventory. You're going to have higher price homes. That's all there is. All right. What is an ulti-lien?
Is it?
So I got a call from, well, this is kind of interesting, and hopefully it doesn't have anything to do with you or me, but an ulti-lien is a lien that an attorney puts on your property strategically so that when you are divorcing, the ulti is the split. And I'll give you an example. Somebody lives in a house. They are married. They both bought the house together. They both paid for it together. It doesn't matter if they did or not. But I mean, in Texas, in ownership, right? And they've got a lot of equity in their house. Now, what are they going to do if they divorce? Well, one of them wants to stay in the house. One of them doesn't want to stay in the house. One of them wants the equity from there. Well, the way Texas is right now, you can only do that with a home equity loan, right? A cash out refi. And it limits you on the equity that you can get. You can only get 80% of the equity out to split with your partner. And that could mean that she doesn't get or he doesn't get a complete split. Not a lot of people know about ulti-liens, but all you have to do is tell the attorney to put an ulti-lien, which would be a lien in favor of the spouse that's not going to be in the house. You do a refinance with a regular appraisal, and then you refinance enough so that the spouse that's leaving gets their share of the money. And it kind of, the problem with the cash out rules in Texas is they're very I say over, I don't mean to be over consumer friendly, but there's restrictions on them no other state has. And there may be 2 other states that have similar characteristics of our cash out rules. This is more consistent with what all the other states have, the 40 out of the 50. And now, why would I say that on today's deal? Well, let me tell you, there are people out there that may be listening that may wonder if there's a way to get this money out of their property when they're divorcing. They just don't know. And if they did, there's one of the few guys out there, because I've been doing this for 150 years, I can make it work.
So tell me a little bit more about that, Mike. Not because I need it, but believe me, 18 years of marriage. But there's if there's not enough equity in the house, it doesn't really matter, though, right? Because
no. Okay, here's a good example. Let's say they live in a $400,000 house, and they owe $320,000.
Okay,
right? So there's $80,000 worth of equity. Okay, in Texas, you can do an 80% maximum refi. So your maximum refi would be $320,000. You couldn't get that $40,000 or that $80,000 worth of equity out.
Gotcha.
So that's why it makes a big difference, and that's a good question. I was thinking about past that. In this particular case, there's a lot more equity involved, but it's I called title company, I called the lender just to make sure that they were copacetic with that, and they said, shoot, all day long. Let's go.
Cool.
Okay. So this is kind of a different track that I'm going on. You may want to go on with me, you may not, but this time of year, I start thinking about next year, right? And 2024 will be better if if I have a plan, if I prioritize what you want, it's not, I mean, I will be better if I prioritize what I want next year. And if it's a new home, and I'm thinking that might be in the cards for some people if they listen to our show, I love that. But it could be, lose weight, get healthy, improve your credit score. I'm in on that. Save money, love that. And what I'm basically doing is reminding people that this is a good time to kind of set things in place so that next year you can be in a better position than you are this year. And particularly, I mean, nobody saw the political thing that is going on right now, or the world crisis, I think, that we have, and the inflation that we have in our world. I mean, I didn't see that. And so what we try to do is we're going to try to make plans for that. I'm going to add a couple things on here. And I meant to move this slide. Resolutions. Do you make New Year's resolutions?
Oh, not really, because it's one of those things where I'm taking it day by day. I don't need to plan a year and a half. I need to take care of the day.
Okay. Well, that's okay, because 88% of all resolutions are put on hold in February. If it's a 2024 resolution, by the 1st of February, you've already said, forget that. Screw that. I'm going to go on something else. But actually, there are some good ones. And so I put this together, this budget spreadsheet, and I'm a fan of this. I use this in my business, and I calculate. What I did is I transferred it to something that might look like a personal budget by month. And I just put some basic things down here. And what I did is I added an income for 2 people in a household. If there's extra income, you could sure put that in there. It totals the income for the month. It totals the total, and the separate, you could put this in there. I kind of broke down rent, cars, groceries, credit cards, miscellaneous, entertainment, and came up with a total expense figure. And again, this is a spreadsheet. You could do whatever you want to with it. Put in the numbers that are yours, and then it gives you a total of what might be left. And a lot of times, if you don't chart what you're doing with your money, and this is not for people like you and me, we have no idea how much money we're getting until we get it. Yeah. But I don't know. I do track by my mortgage company. I probably got spreadsheets like this that go back to maybe 10 years. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to model things so that you can see what you might be able to do. Or can you get that new car? I put this $750 on a car. I don't want to see anybody paying more than $750 on a car. But I told you, I've seen somebody that had a $2,000 a month car payment. So you do whatever you want. I've seen a lot of guys that are car guys or car girls, whatever. I tried to make it somewhat realistic on here, but if anybody has any interest in getting a spreadsheet that's set up like this by month and stuff like this, I'd love to hear you. Just call me at this number. You can email me. I think my email shows up down here somewhere, and I think it's going to help some people. And so Joe, yours is on the way since you don't plan.
You know what? I keep track like a son of a gun. The money that I spend, I just don't. Like you said. I mean, we don't know until, even if we're in a deal, it's not a guarantee. And that's actually something that Alice and I had to help her understand. Is it doesn't necessarily mean you have a client in a contract until we get to the closing table and everybody signs. And
you can't count that money. I did have a loan kind of drop off the immediate this year's planet. It'll happen in 2024, but just stuff happened and all of a sudden it's gone. And it could be a house, could be just crazy stuff. You just never know. I probably ought to talk about that on one of these deals. But anyway, again, budget spreadsheet, very helpful tool. Not hard. You could do this yourself if you wanted to. It's available if you'd like it. And then what I've got today are interest rates on 30-year fixed rates, 7%.
Bravo.
15 years, 6.5%. I was surprised the jumbo was that high. I thought the jumbo might be less, but it's still kind of lagging. FHA, look at FHA, 6.5% on FHA. And VA, 6.5%. Still no ARM rates on there. But really, I think, Joe, that, let me see what I've got behind here. Oh, that's my betting chart. Yeah. So that's all I got today, brother.
That's good, man. Like I said, I'm happy to be here, and it's good to see you. I'm glad you got back from your travels safe, and I hope you have a happy and safe Thanksgiving.
Well, and the same to you and to everybody that takes the time to watch us. And again, sincere thank you for being here. I appreciate you very much, and appreciate anybody that we've done business with. And we just are very thankful for you guys, and just feel very fortunate. And anyway, so I guess we will see you next week, next Tuesday. We should be ready to go, and we'll get the end of November going. Hopefully we'll have some positive stuff to go over then. All right.
Let's do it, man. I'll see you then.
Okay. Thanks a lot.
Bye, Mike.